Hey, what's going on, guys? Another flashlight review for you today. This is the Thrunite Archer 1C. You see here on the side, this is one of two recent EDC flashlights I've been using. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Thrunite stuff. Awesome prices, great products. As far as price, this one, $22.95 if you get it direct from them. And you're getting a lot for $22.95. There's a lot of awesome flashlights in the market. People are constantly asking, what should I get? This, and you know, there's a lot of comparable lights too. This light for this amount of money gives you this lumens, but it doesn't have this, or this one's got this feature, and okay, it's a little more expensive. There's tons and tons of awesome lights, all for under, say, 70 bucks, right? But you're gonna see a lot of them in like the 30, 40, $50 range. This one is less than $25. All right, this is gonna be better for more of a common person. Now, speaking of commonality, this one takes a 1CR123. I've talked to this before a little bit, but there's another model, the 2A. The Archer 2A is going to be for a separate review. That one's more suggested for just an average person. I think the average person can kind of get into using flashlights with CR123s, but for the purpose of, you know, a prepared flashlight tool, hey, you know what, if I have a power outage, I want this kind of flashlight, I still really recommend the AA lights, just because of the simplicity of it, just because it's going to be cheaper. You know, if you're buying a cheap light, it might mean because, you know, you don't want to spend a bunch of money on batteries. If you don't want to spend $60 on a flashlight or $100 on a flashlight, you certainly don't want to spend a lot of money on the batteries either. So it's something really to consider. But as I've said before, the CR123 lights will offer more in a smaller package. It's literally more energy in the battery. So you're able to get a little bit more lumens out of a smaller light. So speaking of the size, let's measure this. Just under 4 inches, 3 3/4 inches or so on the length, and under an inch for that bezel. All right, and the weights. I'm gonna weigh this with a battery in. Sometimes you'll get weights for flashlights without the battery. I don't know why. I don't know why would you carry a flashlight without the battery in there, but anyway. In ounces, we have 2.21 ounces. That's with the battery, and yes, it's a brand new battery because it does make a difference. Okay, so it's small, it's lightweight, it's simple to put in your pocket. It's an awesome little flashlight. As far as, you know, the body construction, again, across the board, everything's pretty much the same these days. Type 3 anodized aluminum. This one has a lot of knurling all over it, which is nice, good for grip. What's interesting about this one is it has the stainless steel bezel, and it is removable. I would really like to see Thrunite put out some filters, colored glass that you can buy as an accessory. I know a lot of people out there actually like, you know, red filters and green filters, and Christina, I know, uses filters all the time. The biggest thing is that it's hard because she can't keep the filters with the light. I would love to see a flashlight company come out with a flashlight that has some filters, but somehow incorporates into the design of the body to store those. Like, you know, maybe something that clips onto the back that actually holds your filters in there, because any flashlight that uses a filter, it's always separate, and it's hard to kind of keep them together. In some cases, you know, if it's like an overmold, you can put the filter, you know, over the flashlight, but then you're limited to one. So I don't know, not everyone uses filters for flashlights, but they do come in handy in different situations. So anyone out there listening, try to make a flashlight that has filters that actually connects, you know, storage basically in the light somehow. But anyway, yeah, so that's really cool. I like that it's removable. I'd like to see, like I said, some filters that you can purchase separately to connect this, you know, for long-term use. It is a crenulated bezel, which just means the cutouts. Talked about this before. The flashlight's on, you rest it down, it's easy to see that it's on. Other people like it because it's a little bit better for striking, for defensive purposes. A small light like this, I don't think you're going to be considering the striking capability of it. I think for more practical use, it's going to allow you to know that the flashlight's on if it's face down on a table or, you know, surface. It is a little bit smaller for striking purposes. But anyway, nice glass lens, tempered glass. Don't always focus on this too much in flashlight reviews, but it does make a difference. Anti-reflective coating on there, so you're getting all those lumens from the LED, you know, outward. Not a lot is reflecting back. Something as simple as having, you know, the proper lens can make a difference, because that LED could be very powerful, but you're losing lumens by that light reflecting back in towards the flashlight as opposed to pushing it out. We look down in the business end here. So it works out if I do this and zoom in. Take a look at that LED in there. We have a Cree XP-G2. Oh, a little bit blurry. There we go. And we have a nice deep smooth reflector. No stippling at all here. This is to project that light out as far as possible. I do have a separate video on the beam shots for this light if you want to check that out. As far as the modes and the usability of this flashlight, it's very, very straightforward. You have a clicky switch on the back, and like most flashlights, if you push it in just slightly, you're gonna have a momentary on. You let go, it shuts off, all right? So it's on, as long as you're holding it, let go, it's off. Then you can, of course, click it, have it constantly on. As far as the modes, what we're doing to adjust this is rotating the head on here. All right, so you rotate the head and come back, click it on for constant on here, so I can show you this. It starts off in the lowest mode, which is 0.2 lumens for 315 hours on a fresh CR123. This is like the moonlight mode. This is the, total, runtime over power. This is where you barely need any kind of light. Believe it or not, because some people say this is a useless feature. It's not. I have used this in cars before, all right? Having a flashlight in the car, especially when you're not driving, is extremely, extremely distracting for the driver, and it's dangerous, all right? You take one of your powerful little flashlights and you're in the passenger seat and you turn it on to look at something, your driver is going to see that in their peripheral vision, and it's going to throw them off, and it could get you into an accident, all right? Not to mention it's going to throw off other drivers that are passing you on the road. So this does have a practical function. But anyway, 0.2 lumens, all right, to adjust the modes, we're going to twist the head, okay? It's going to go, to the side and then back. This is kind of an old school function. There's a lot of different flashlights that have a lot of different ways to change the modes, but in this case, we're just rotating the head. So the next level up here is our actual low mode, and this is 24 lumens. You get 13-hour runtime. Twist it. Goes up to our medium mode, which is 90 lumens for 2.7 hours. And then one more time for our high, which is 281 lumens for 48 minutes. If you put this to strobe, you're always going to get more of a runtime. It's that same exact output, 281 lumens, but we're going to get 1.5 hours. Now on strobe, it is a faster paced, strobing effect, so very cool. So I always leave mine in high here and then shut it back off. One thing I'm going to tell you, there's high. One thing I want to make a note here that's important is that when you're twisting this to change the modes, make sure you grip the body, all right, and then twist. Because I've noticed if I try to use this quickly and I grab the tail cap here, I literally, instead of moving the head, I move the tail cap, okay, if that makes sense. And so if I just quickly grab it here and just hold these two pieces on either end, then I might not be changing the mode. I might actually just be unscrewing the flashlight. All right, so quick little tip there. I did that multiple times. I had to get used to, grabbing the tail cap and the body together, all right, to change my modes. I like this one. This is a feature. I've gone over this before in past flashlight videos. I love the fact that this can stand up, all right, on a flat surface. That's huge. That is really, really big. I've talked to the importance of this before. If you're using this for an emergency light, you want to rest it to, on a table or a flat surface in a room to illuminate the entire room, you're going to need to do that. So the body flares up past our clicky switch. All right, this is pretty big. It's a simple thing, but there's a lot of awesome flashlights on the market that just don't have that. In an emergency, it's going to be a pain in the butt to have to prop it up with different things. All right, so big bonus for me. Loops on both sides for your lanyard. Speaking of which, here's what you get with the flashlight. I never use these, and a lot of different companies, give you, especially for the small lights, they really do come in handy. Especially when you're starting to carry lots and lots of gear. I've been tinkering around with carrying this in my EDC. I didn't show it in my EDC setup because more times than not, it's in my pocket. But I have put this on a carabiner and on my belt loop, and it does, free your pockets up for other types of gear. It's never really in the way. It's nice and snug in there. It's not going to fall out. Easy to get to. So these little holsters / sheaths for flashlights do work. They work well. And the Thrunite ones are very good quality, and they're not going to come apart very easily. All right, you have the elastic sides. It's a snug fit. Works great. As far as accessories on this one, just getting some O-rings. The box, self-explanatory. Of course, they give you some information on here. And the paperwork. said this before, but a lot of knife manufacturers can take a lesson from these flashlight people in that their paperwork actually means something. I mean, it's giving you all this information, you know, not only just the technical specs, but the run times, the voltage. I mean, these are, look at all these are, I guess you would consider data points. Every single point here is something, you know, a bit of information about this flashlight. If I just scroll up through here, you can see all this information. I don't always mention this type of stuff, you know, for a review, but it's not BS. It's not just a warranty card. I mean, there's actual information on here, which I really, really like. Very simple. So it's like that with all the Thrunite flashlights. This does have a reverse polarity protection, which is really good if you don't know. Obviously, if you put the battery in the wrong way on some flashlights that don't have that protection, you could burn out the flashlight. You can ruin it, you know, or damage the battery. But this one, if you accidentally put it in the wrong way, not a problem. It's not going to hurt anything. To take this apart, just unscrew the tail cap. It's like most flashlights. You can see our CR123. If you're not familiar with these, just very small battery. Do yourself a favor. If you're going to get into these type of lights, go online to buy your batteries. Battery Junction is one site off the top of my head. There's plenty of them. You go to candlepowerforums.com. They have all kinds of CPF codes for discounts. And get these for $1 a piece, in some cases even less. All right, if you go down to your local stores to find these, you're going to pay $5, $6 a battery. All right, it gets very expensive after a while. These don't have to be expensive lights. This one is less than $25, and if you go online, you get yourself 10 batteries for $10, you're set for a while. All right, but I know a lot of people, you know, besides safety reasons, some people, you know, are discouraged from using CR123s because they're expensive, because they can't buy them at their local stores. You can easily stock up. These last a very long time for storage as well. So anyway, that's how you take it apart. The head also, you know, separates from the body tube here. This is the setup you get. Whoop. You want to be careful. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the O-ring had broke because I cross-threaded it. You see that? Right here in the review. This is the first time it's ever happened to me. I spun that too fast and it broke on me. So for the first time ever here on film, I get to use a spare O-ring because I never use these. How about that? Alright, so should be pretty straightforward, but we're just gonna pop it on here. Alright, so there we go. It's in place. And you put this back together. Make sure you don't cross thread. Yeah, it must have moved down on me a little bit, and as I was, you know, threading, it just got pinched between those threads. And there we go. Right at the end, you can feel there's a little bit more resistance. All right, so once again, the positive part of the battery goes down. Okay, just like so. There you go. So I love this light. The Archer 1C is my preferred one over the 2, but I will do a separate video on the Archer 2A because I think it's going to be very popular for, you know, the average person. I will do a separate video review on the Archer 2A. If you're dead set on I like AA battery flashlights, that's the one to take a look at. Basically, you know, the same flashlight with a different form factor. But anyway, that's it for this review. Once again, the Archer 1C by Thrunite, an awesome EDC option. I still love the T10S. That is very cool, and the one that I did the demo with, throwing it in the snow, it is still in my driveway because even though we've had a couple warm days and it's melted the snow a little bit, it's still out there, and we probably have another 5 or 6 inches to melt before I can get that and show you how it's been. I'm very curious to see how that's been holding up or not holding up. We'll find out together. So in the meantime, hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.